District Attorney of Delaware County, and we are here today because of the arrest of 34-year-old Johnathan Gerlach of Ephrata, Pennsylvania. He is now arrested. Bail has been set at $1 million cash by Judge Williams. He is in on 26 counts of burglary, criminal trespass, and a host of other offenses.
All right, so let's talk about this. Because when you hear the headlines, it sounds so unreal. But when you slow it down, it get even worse. Before any of this made the news, before court dates, before charges, Johnathan Gerlach was just a regular dude. And I know that's how these stories always start. But I'm being serious, y'all. He had no big reputation, no loud warnings, no everybody knew he was weird type vibes. He was just a man living in Ephrata, a small, quiet town in Pennsylvania, minding his business. Or at least that's what it looked like.
Over the course of the last several weeks, detectives from Yeadon Borough as well as Delaware County CID became aware that from November of 2025 up until 2 days ago, January of 2026, Mount Moriah Cemetery had been burglarized by, at that point, an unknown individual. 26 separate mausoleums and or underground burial sites had been torn into and, for lack of a better word, desecrated.
So here's what's important. He didn't have some long list of violent charges, nothing that would make you side-eye him off rip, which is why this case hits the way it does. Because it make you ask that question we all ask. How do you go from living regular to this? And police say it didn't happen overnight. They say he kept to himself, stayed pretty isolated, but online, allegedly, he was in spaces most people don't even know exist. Talking about bones, remains, collectors, and not on no Halloween type stuff. No shock jokes, but they was actually talking about human remains. And that's when we realized this didn't start at a cemetery. The cemetery is just where it ended up at, y'all. So let's get into some of the details of the cemetery. Mount Moriah Cemetery is old, y'all. Like history book old. They got a lot of big stone mausoleums with heavy doors. But the thing is, they don't have a lot of security. But over time, the people working there started noticing things. Doors that shouldn't have been open was open. Caskets was shifted. And stuff just seemed a little off. At first, nobody knew what was missing. They couldn't pinpoint it. Then somebody realized it wasn't the jewelry. It wasn't the money. It was the actual people. It was the damn people, y'all. But here's the thing. Nobody really turned them in at first. I guess the workers at the cemetery just kind of reached out to the police because they started watching. They set up surveillance after hours, quiet late nights, and one night they seen a man inside the cemetery, not wandering around like he was lost, not sightseeing, not like he was looking for a particular grave, not like he was there visiting somebody. He was just there, comfortable, like he knew where everything was. They watched him go into one of the mausoleums and they watched him come back out. And then they see him leaving with a burlap sack. So they stopped him. Police say inside the bag was human remains. And just like that, the story changed.
Investigation took place. Yeadon deserves a hell of a lot of credit on this for doing good old-fashioned police work, going through LPRs, tracking physical evidence, piecing together a suspect, cooperating with CID. We developed that suspect, we laid in wait, and we eventually watched and caught Mr. Gerlach as he desecrated yet another monument as recently as 2 days ago.
And that's when the police knew this was really crazy because they say inside his home and storage areas, they found over 100 sets of human remains. Skulls, bones, partial skeletons. Some of them was organized. Some of them was stored. Some of them was even displayed, y'all. And it wasn't messy. It wasn't rushed. It was collected. He took his time with it. But we still don't know why. What's the fascination? What was the plan? Was he just gonna have it like around his house as art? What was the point of it? Maybe those details will come out in court.
He was taken into custody. Search warrants were executed at his home in Ephrata, where over 100 human skeletons were recovered. And that's in part, at this point, we are still trying to figure out how many of those are complete and what exactly we are looking at. A separate storage locker was found to be in Mr. Gerlach's possession. That also was in Ephrata. We found there 8 more human remains. Very simply, detectives have recovered an awful lot of bones at this point, and we are still trying to piece together who they are, where they are from, and how many we are looking at, and it's going to be quite some time before we have a final answer.
But now I know what y'all asking, because when you hear that, the questions come fast. How do you even know who's who? How do families find out? Is this about to take forever? The short answer is yes. It's going to take time. And naturally, it's going to take time because they call him at this particular cemetery. Ain't no telling how many different cemeteries this man done visited collecting bones. Or even if they all came from cemeteries. What if some of them bones belong to missing persons? They said he had children bones too, so it's real creepy, y'all. It's real creepy. But it's definitely gonna take them some time to identify everybody. I guess the first thing they'll do is start with DNA, but that's not the end of it. A lot of these remains is too old. DNA might not even be usable. So the police will start with the grave sites. They'll go back to every burial site they think was disturbed. They'll pull the records. They'll check who was buried there, when, and how. If a mausoleum was supposed to hold 2 people and now it doesn't, that matters. It'll narrow things down a lot. Everything probably is mixed up, and that's expected. Forensic scientists separate remains and figure out basics by age, sex, and time periods. If the bones don't match the burial records, they don't belong there. This is slow work, and it has to be very careful, very meticulous. Once police believe a specific grave was disturbed, the next of kin will be contacted directly. They got people trained for this, y'all. Families are told what police know and what they don't. No guessing, no promising. Sometimes the police may even ask the families for DNA samples, but that'll be optional. And police are honest about it. It might help, it might not. This whole process can take months, sometimes years, because this isn't one case, it's dozens stacked on top of each other. And every set of remain is evidence. A person, somebody's people. Whew. The part that sits with you. Johnathan Gerlach is now facing hundreds of charges. But what makes this story heavy isn't just what he's accused of. It's how long police say it went on without anyone noticing. No obvious warning signs, no moment where somebody should have stepped in, until somebody just watched close enough. This one is crazy, y'all. Let's talk about it. And I'll see y'all in the next one.